A dark sky, thunder rolling in the distance, and a lone figure staring into a broken mirror. His face is tired, haunted. Not by ghosts, but by choices, regrets, and the burden of fame. That man is Johnny Depp. Cut to black. Voiceover begins. There's a certain kind of story that doesn't just entertain, lingers. Like the shadow of a dream. Like the chill of a nightmare that follows you into the daylight. And few know that better than Johnny Depp. Once the darling of indie cinema, later the global icon behind Jack Sparrow's wild charm. Depp's career has been anything but predictable. But buried deep in his eclectic filmography lies a film many tried to forget, while others couldn't stop watching. A horror thriller, mysterious, polarizing, and now dominating free streaming platforms. This is the untold story behind Johnny Depp's most divisive horror thriller, the film that vanished into cult obscurity, only to rise again like a ghost from the past, haunting a new generation of viewers. It's called The Ninth Gate. But before we open that gate, we need to step back. Way back, it's the late 1990s. Depp, already a Hollywood enigma, had walked away from the glittering red carpet path most would have killed to follow. Instead, he was chasing shadows roles that spoke to the darker corners of the soul. He wasn't interested in being liked. He wanted to disappear into something twisted, something real. And then came Roman Polanski. Yes, that Roman Polanski. Brilliant, controversial, haunted in his own way. The two formed a pact of sorts. Depp would star in a film that blended the occult, literature, murder, and madness. A neo-noir labyrinth where nothing was quite as it seemed. The result was The Ninth Gate. Released in 1999, Depp plays Dean Corso, a rare book dealer with a morally ambiguous compass, hired to authenticate a mysterious tome rumored to summon the devil himself. What begins as a job quickly unravels into an obsession, a descent into paranoia, seduction, and possibly damnation. Audiences didn't know what to make of it. Critics were split. Some dismissed it as slow, confusing, even pretentious. Others praised its slow burn tension, its hypnotic atmosphere, and Depp's quiet unraveling. But the film had a problem. It didn't fit into a box. It wasn't pure horror. It wasn't a detective story either. And it certainly wasn't trying to explain itself. It asked you to feel your way through the shadows, to get lost. And Johnny, he wasn't playing for applause. He was building a mood, methodical, cynical, yet weirdly vulnerable. Behind the scenes, Depp was in his own storm. His personal life was complicated, relationships strained. His own demons circling. You can see it in his eyes in the film, not the eyes of an actor performing, but of a man searching. Corso's journey mirrored Johnny's own. Navigating power, temptation, and the fine line between truth and illusion. And then the film faded. The Ninth Gate didn't explode at the box office. It quietly slipped away. For years, it lived in the margins, whispers and forums, cult film screenings, late-night cable slots. But then, something changed. Streaming happened, in a world now obsessed with everything creepy, vintage, and psychologically unnerving. The Ninth Gate found new life. When it landed on free streaming platforms, it was like lighting a match in a room soaked with gasoline. A new audience discovered it, not expecting jump scares or flashy effects, but a slow, cerebral spiral. TikTok creators dissected scenes. Reddit threads theorized about every symbol, every silent glance. YouTube essays popped up with titles like, "The Genius You Missed in the Ninth Gate." People began to realize this wasn't a film made to thrill. It was made to haunt. And Johnny, though embroiled in legal battles and personal controversies in recent years, his performance in The Ninth Gate feels eerily untouched by time. It's like a time capsule of everything that made him unforgettable: intensity, humor, mystery, danger. Now, as the film surges through streaming rankings, it sparks debates. Was it ahead of its time? Was it misunderstood? Or is there something deeper in its DNA, something audiences weren't ready to confront, until now? Watch closely, and you'll notice details that didn't register before. The recurring imagery of mirrors, the cryptic messages hidden in the book engravings, the strange, almost seductive presence of a woman who may or may not be human. There are no easy answers in The Ninth Gate. And that's the point. Because maybe it's not about the devil at all. Maybe it's about how far we're willing to go when we believe we're chosen, or cursed, or both. For Depp, the film marks a turning point, a moment where he fully stepped into the role of outsider, artist, and mythmaker. This wasn't a calculated move to revive a career or tap into a trend. This was instinct, a deep, almost primal pull toward the kind of cinema that doesn't just entertain, it unsettles. It provokes, it lingers like a bruise on the conscience. He wasn't chasing blockbuster glory. He wasn't looking for applause or easy praise. He was dancing with darkness and loving every step. You could see it in every frame, the subtle shifts in Corso's posture, the flicker of doubt behind his eyes, the way he lit a cigarette like it was a spell against dread. Depp wasn't just acting. He was exercising something. Maybe regret, maybe anger, maybe the unbearable weight of having been turned into a myth by the very industry he once tried to reject. This wasn't the Johnny Depp of Disney's soundstages and billion-dollar franchises. This was the version of him that thrived in the underground, the smoky rooms, the hidden truths, the raw and the ruined. The Ninth Gate wasn't a stepping stone, it was a statement. An echo of the kind of actor Depp always wanted to be, long before Jack Sparrow's dreadlocks or courtroom headlines. And what's astonishing is how the film, more than 2 decades later, speaks more loudly than ever. In a world addicted to instant gratification, The Ninth Gate demands patience. In a culture chasing resolution, it offers ambiguity. And perhaps that's why it's resonating now. Because we've all started to understand that the scariest answers are the ones that never arrive. Today, as The Ninth Gate pulls in millions of curious viewers, it feels less like a movie and more like a ritual and experience with layers, secrets, and echoes that refuse to fade. It's the kind of film that demands something from you. Your patience, your interpretation, your willingness to sit in uncertainty. It's not fast food cinema. It's say candlelit seance. People are talking not just about the story, but about how it made them feel: uneasy, curious, transformed. That's the magic, or the curse, depending on how you look at it. Because when a story wraps itself around your spine like that, it doesn't let go. It whispers to you later, in the quiet, in the dark. A ritual where the audience becomes part of the myth, where every interpretation opens a new door. Where watching it once is never enough, because you'll never see it the same way twice. It's not just a film anymore. It's an initiation. Viewers don't just watch The Ninth Gate, they fall into it. They walk its corridors. They stare back at the same mysterious engravings, the same unsettling smiles, and they wonder, what would I do? Would I be tempted? Would I believe? Would I follow the pages to the end? That's the brilliance and the curse of this film. It invites you in, but never tells you what you've learned. It's a reminder that not all horror comes from monsters. Real horror isn't always about blood or beasts. It's about what hides in plain sight. It's about ambition that corrodes the soul. It's desire that devours. Obsession that blinds us to the line between right and wrong. That's the kind of horror The Ninth Gate offers. It crawls under the skin because it feels eerily possible. Sometimes it comes from obsession, from ambition, from ourselves, and maybe, just maybe, Johnny Depp understood that long before we did. Maybe that's why the role fit him so well, not like a costume, but like a confession. He's never been Hollywood's golden boy. He's the rebel, the wanderer, the man drawn to strange corners of the map, and the ninth gate. It's one of those corners of forgotten alleyway where something ancient and powerful waits, still whispering, still watching. Because when he looked into that broken mirror in the opening scene, he wasn't just playing Corso. He was confronting something. Something deep, something permanent, something that still stares back today, all of us. Fade to black. Roll credits.